Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Jetzo on Air. I'm excited to sit down with no other than Romain Grosjean and take you into his very own private jet. Come with us and let's take a look. So, why did you choose this plane?
That's a good question, because it goes fast, because I can sit my whole family, and because it goes fast.
So you said it goes quite far also actually.
It's about 2.5 hours in the plane, right? But you can go to California from Miami in one stop, but you fly at 450 knots and 41,000 feet. So most of the time you're on top of the weather and you fly fast, and speed has been all my life.
Talking about speed, you started with Formula One and fast cars. What made you think that, you know what, I don't want to be a passenger, I want to fly my own plane?
Yeah, I always loved airplanes, always loved driving things, right? I have a boat license, I have a motorcycle license, I have a car license, I'm a race car driver. And I thought, you know what, flying airplanes sounds fantastic. So I was lucky to try a couple of times and came to the US. It was a lot easier to do it here. So I did my theory online and then I started flying, and 500 hours later I'm here flying planes. I've got type rating on jet, which I never thought I would in my life. But I love the feeling, you know, you're in control of yourself and you go up there and there's no signal, there's no Wi-Fi, it's just you, air traffic control and the sky.
I love that. Well, tell us a little bit more about this plane. You're selling it. You're looking for a new one, or are you getting out of the whole business now?
Well, you never know, but right now we're selling that one. This is a Beechcraft Premier 2004. It's got about 3,800 hours. Don't quote me on that, it's somewhere there.
The right number on the screen over here.
Yeah, there you go on the screen. But it's a fantastic airplane, six passenger at the back, can be flown single pilot. As I say, you have 2.5 hours easy. You can go Miami to New York, no problem. Well, we have two Williams FG44-2A engine. I think that's the right name for them. They produce 2,300 thrusts each. You have short wings, but that's what makes the plane very, very fast. They actually call swept wings, so they go big backwards. You know, it's a full carbon monocoque. One of the very rare airplanes to be full carbon, so that talks to me as a race car driver. We're always in carbon. It's very strong, it's very, very durable. There's no lifetime limit on the plane because it's carbon, so that's been fantastic. So I think on the outside, I mean, it's an airplane, right? But it's got two engines, and I think inside shows a lot more. Come with me. Oh, well, so you know, we got a nice door. You come in, passengers are very happy. It is very spacious. You know, I'm 5'11", I can almost stand up, or 180 centimeters for European. We have a club, so that's 4 seats facing each other. And then at the back, we got 2 more. There is a little toilets completely at the back, but I've banned everyone from using it unless it's a massive emergency, because I don't want to be cleaning it. But there's a toilet. You can close actually the doors. There's privacy doors. There's privacy doors for the pilot as well that you can close. So you can be going on your own party here. All the interior was redone in 2020. It's a 2004 aircraft, so it's 20 years old, but everything, paint outside and everything inside was redone in 2020, so it looks very new. We get a beautiful wood, we get a beautiful leather, the seats are immaculate. I mean, you know, every passenger that I brought on board, I've had a lot of lovely time, but where I like to be is more on the other side, on the pilot seat.
Now, and also you have a tables over here, so if you want to do work or anything,
sure,
you can easily do that.
There you go. You got tables on each side. The kids love to play kart. You have here and there. You have USB charger, as well as you know, the control of the temperature at the back. I mean, you have, you know, the shades that you can bring down if you want to, or back up. You have a beautiful view because the windows are really big actually in that aircraft, and most importantly, you got a lot of space. You know, I'm Like if you're just traveling 2, it's fantastic. If you're 4, it's plenty of space, and if you're 6, you still have really good space at the back. So
and you can put the seats kind of down and make it kind of semi like a bed.
yeah, you can turn, you can play with the back of your seat. You can incline it. You can incline them almost that. Yes, you could almost make a bed if you had a part in carbon to cover it. I've seen people doing it online, but I've never tried myself.
The plane is so fast, so it gets there before you can fall asleep.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, before you have to refuel. So Miami, Florida is 1 stop, so it's not too bad, honestly. Operating cost on that airplane is pretty good for a jet. We burn about 155 gallons an hour of fuel. Engine program, it's about $500 for both engines. And then,
So once you own it, it's almost cheaper to fly than a first class.
I haven't made the math, but if you're 400%, if you're on your own, maybe pushing the limit. But a plane is always gonna cost you money, but it's also you take off when you want, you land when you want, and where you want. And I think that's been the best part of it.
The freedom of going whenever and wherever you want.
Exactly, sir.
This is where you spend most of your time when you're flying over here.
Yes, left seat, pilot seat. You get to see the sky every day. Even if it's a cloudy day, you go on top of the clouds and you see the sun. So that's fantastic. It's a great airplane, It's got Proline 21 avionics. Bit different from Garmin, but it's been very good to work with. I've learned everything on Garmin, so I came out and but honestly, within very little time, you're up there. Speed is everything on that airplane, so you want to make sure that you keep your speed right. You get all your autopilots at the top here, got all your communication on the side, pressurization is automatic, you got your fuel, you got your electricals, you got a landing gear, you get your throttle here, you get the speed brakes in case you come in too fast. You have speed brakes, and when you land there's a lift dump, and that really reduced the distance to slow down the aircraft and allows you not to use the brake too much. Brakes were very fast on an aircraft, so as long as you can avoid being on the brakes, that's fantastic. So yeah, you take off, you trim gears up, trims, autopilot on, and then just listen to ATC and reply them behind on the switch with the radio.
Now, you're used to racing cars, and racing cars have a lot of buttons on the steering wheels. So this kind of was like being at home for you, but in the sky.
I think, where I was lucky when I started flying is that multitasking was not a problem for me. Flying, talking to the radio, looking at dashes or, instrument was very natural. And also feeling how the airplane moves through my bum, that's what I do for a living. So that's why I was able to go very fast, very quickly through my learning process. Of course, every time you fly, you learn something new. So I'm not saying I'm a good pilot. I'm a pilot that's learning all the time. But all I'm saying is that there was a lot of it that was very natural for me, because that kind of the steering wheel, you're flying, you're feeling what the airplanes do. At the same time you're flying, you may be talking to someone, they tell you change altitude, or but you're right there, and it's kind of very natural for me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking before you even asked that question. How much correlation there is between racing cars and airplanes? It doesn't initially sound like a lot, but like you're saying, there's quite a bit.
Actually, quite a bit. I even have my earplugs from racing. Those earpieces to get the radio, that they come from racing. So, I think a lot of it is the same. It's engine management, it's speed management, it's trajectory, it's feeling where the aircraft is, and making sure that you treat it the way it should be treated. So, I must say that I was very surprised that flying was so natural from the beginning.
But you don't go from not flying at all to hopping into jet airplanes. You have to start with props.
Yeah, you start with a piston aircraft, a Cessna 172, and then you move on. So I did a bit of a different trajectory. After my private license, I went to do my multi-engine license because I was buying a multi-engine piston aircraft. Then I did my instrument flying. That means you can fly into the clouds. And then a year later, I did my commercial license, which means you can be paid to fly. And then a year later, I went to do the school for the jet. So every jet requires a particular school for that airplane, right? If it's a Cessna Citation 3, if it's a Premier I, if it's a Boeing 777, Airbus A380, you have to go to school for that airplane where you learn everything about the airplanes, maneuvers, emergency, losing an engine on the simulator, like everything you can imagine that they do to you, they'll do it. So I did that. It's about 17 days. I passed. I got my pro card, meaning that I did really well, and that's how I'm able to sit left seat on a jet.
I love that. That's amazing. Congratulations on that. Being in the air, what is the happiest moment of flying, and what is the kind of like the scariest moment of it all?
I said the happiest moment is when you put the thrust lever forward, you accelerate, you take off, you put the gear down, and then all the noise seems to be going right, and you're flying, and that's what I love. The scariest moment is of course the landing. This is the part that is a bit more stressful. You need to make sure you do everything right, especially when there's crosswind. You may be coming a little bit sideways. It's kind of a weird feeling, but it's about knowing your avionics. Autopilot and avionics nowadays are fantastic if you press the right button. If you press the wrong button, it's a different story. But I'll show you something. I have my checklist. And here we go. I have all my cheat sheets, right? For the different type of approaches, I made my notes. If I have any doubt, I have a paper behind with even more notes. So this is the thing that I want to make sure that I control a lot, the checklist. We all have checklists where we make things important, things that you may forget. For me, to stab the ice, it's that button right there. On the checklist, if I don't read it, I may forget it. So those little notes on the checklist are very important. And then, of course, you have all the emergency part, which is all the red tabs. And starting with one, which is normally engine fire. Yep, engine fire. That's bad news, right? But same thing, you have things that you need to know by heart, all the gray part. This is memory item, and then you go into the checklist. So yeah, quite a few. And then I put notes as well in case that happened. I need to make sure that I also do those. So this was very good at school, and this is all we did. We used the oxygen mask, we used smoke goggles, we lost engine, we had fire, we had flap failure, we had brake failure. I mean, name it. The plane never flies the way it should.
Wow. Some of the coolest places that you've taken this airplane?
I think anything in the Caribbean. The view. Yeah, it's fantastic. You get to see that color blue, perfect blue color. Going to California is fantastic. I haven't done yet the Rockies. That's definitely on my to-do list. Because I'm born in Switzerland. I love the mountains. So going to Rockies would be fantastic. But every time you come down to Miami, it's a good day.
Everybody talks about St. Bart's landing, that it's a challenge.
Oh, you would not land that part. That plane would not stop before in the water in St. Bart's. It's got to be very specific airplanes. But St. Bart's is fun, yes. But I could do Saint Martin.
Nice, very cool. So people will be able to contact directly you to buy the plane, or how will it work?
No, it works. I have a friend of mine that does a broken aircraft, so he manages it for me. He's been very, very kind and helping me. So they'll do with him. The previous plane that I sold, I came with the owner. The buyer, I went to see the plane. So if I'm around, I'll come and say hi for sure. But if not, we have a group of people doing it. I say I love that airplane. It's just that I'm gonna be traveling a little bit less, so it makes little sense to have a jet. So probably gonna go back to props.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time, and what a cool airplane it is.
Are we going now?
Let's go.
Turn it on.
This was the very first episode of Jetzo on Air. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see Romain's jet in full 3D, then click the link down below. And if you have any cool ideas or jets that you would like to see on our channel, then leave them in the comment section down below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you want to see even more of Jetzo doings, then hit the subscribe button down below. As always, thank you for watching and welcome to Jetzo.